Corn Chapter 5, Guard Dragon. The ominous growl sent a vibration up Pearl's legs. What was behind the door? Had something nasty escaped from one of the treatment rooms? Or had Mr. Tabby placed a monster in the lobby to scare off possible intruders? Pearl's heart kicked up its rhythm. Ben's face went pale. He stepped back as the beast stared through the peephole. But Pearl wasn't so quick to retreat. There was something familiar about that eyeball. The growling stopped and the eyeball disappeared. Then came the sound of a deadbolt sliding open. "Maybe we should go," Ben whispered. "We're supposed to be here," Pearl whispered back. "Mr. Tabby wouldn't send something to hurt us." Yet how could she be so sure? She'd only known Mr. Tabby for a week, and he was usually quite grumpy. Maybe they'd broken another rule, and this was their punishment? The second deadbolt released, then the third, fourth, and fifth. The door opened. "Did I scare you with my big mean growl?" a voice asked. "Did I, huh? Did I?" The black dragon who lived on the hospital roof stood hunched in the doorway. Pearl and Ben exhaled at the same time. This was no monster. "Metal Mouth," Pearl exclaimed. "You nearly scared the pants off Ben." "No, he didn't," Ben said, wiping sweat from his forehead. The dragon smiled and thwopped his tail. "I'm supposed to guard the front door when Mr. Tabby's gone." He stepped aside so Pearl and Ben could enter. Pearl still couldn't believe that she knew a dragon. And this one talked. He slammed the door shut. Then, using his claws, he slid all the deadbolts into place. "Did you hear about the human who got into the imaginary world?" he asked. "Did you?" "Yeah. Who do you think it is?" Pearl asked. "Beats me." Metal Mouth sat on his haunches. His head nearly reached the ceiling. He wasn't the largest dragon the kids had met, but he was big enough to take up most of the lobby. "I don't like watching the front door. What if an angry peasant wants to get in?" He'd seen a picture of rake-wielding villagers in a book called History of Dragons by Dr. Emerald Wu. There was also a drawing of a knight in shining armor attacking a dragon with a sword. No wonder Metal Mouth was scared. Pearl figured it was a good thing he was living in Buttonville, where no one owned a sword. At least, not as long as she knew. Pearl didn't want to scare Metal Mouth, of course, but he needed to know something very important. "There is one person who might try to get inside the hospital. Her name is Martha Mulberry. She's a busybody." Ben nodded. "My grandfather says she kvetches too much." "Kvetches?" Metal Mouth scratched his left ear. "What's that?" "She complains, she whines. Grandpa Abe says we need Mrs. Mulberry about as much as we need holes in our heads." "Oh, I don't want a hole in my head." Metal Mouth flattened his ears and glanced at the door. "Do you think we should get some more locks, huh? Do you?" Even though he was big enough to sit on anyone who might try to sneak in, Metal Mouth was about as gentle as a butterfly. "I'm sure everything will be okay," Pearl told him. But she wasn't sure. What if Mrs. Mulberry brought the police? Or what if the human who'd been spotted in the imaginary world tried to get in? Ben, who'd been frowning since Mr. Tabby had used the word dangerous earlier, didn't seem sure either. "We have a security system in our house in Los Angeles," Ben said. "It sounds an alarm if any windows or doors are open. I think Dr. Wu should get something like that, don't you?" "But what happens if you open a window or a door?" Pearl asked. "I'm supposed to type a password into the keypad to turn off the alarm. But sometimes I forget, and then the guards come." Ben shrugged. "I usually tell them a story. One time I said that we had a ghost who couldn't make up his mind if he wanted to haunt the house or the yard, so he kept going in and out." Pearl thought that was a funny story, and might have laughed if Metal Mouth's ears weren't still flattened. "I don't think I can watch all the windows and all the doors. I wish Mr. Tabby would come back," Metal Mouth said. Pearl reached out and patted the dragon's paw. "It'll be okay. Just make that big, mean growl, and no one will come anywhere near the hospital." Like this, the dragon opened his mouth, exposing a row of teeth, sharp enough to bite through metal. Pearl and Ben plugged their ears as a roar filled the lobby. Hot breath blew across their faces. If the building weren't made of concrete, the walls might have collapsed. Yeah, Pearl said, after the roar stopped echoing. Just like that.